Speed Series for 2025. An incredible program coming your way over the next, 2 days of racing. Clean-up underway on the circuit. Can confirm Wallace is okay and has been taken out of that car. He'll go for checks in the medical centre. We're not far away from qualifying for GT World Challenge powered by AWS. Before that, though, let's go and say good day to Chris Stubbs.
Thanks very much. We've just seen Monochrome GT for Australia, the second pole position. And George, congratulations. Cars just faster and faster, and so do you.
We'll come back to Stubbsy in just a second. Long way down the pit lane there. It's there's plenty of garages, and we'll hopefully hear from George Miedeke after a great qualifying session for the Lubramax Miedeke Motorsport Ford team.
Hey, it's good for Stubbsy to get his step count up, though, don't you think?
It is. It is, and needs to do it, let's be honest.
Miedeke looked pretty happy, as you would be.
Well, yeah, what a team performance. We talked about that at the start, and we're about to see GT World Challenge, and it's the same. You want to maximise both of your drivers. The closer you can get your two drivers, the better chance you're going to have of delivering across the walk-in. Let's have another go at this, Stubbsy. We know you've got to get your step count up in the lane, but let's see if we can hear from George.
It's like putting on a new set of tyres. We put on a new camera, and I think we're up and running this time. George Miedeke, George, you're doing the split, so you've had to do that for a little bit longer now, so don't worry about my steps. It's his groins that I think we're concerned about at the moment. George, pole position in Monochrome GT for Australia. The car is fast, and I can tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we feel great. You know, having a year's experience to come back here, we're stronger, we feel good. Obviously, Ryland's doing a fantastic job. We're both very in sync. You know, we developed the car together and have the same feedback, which is great. And yeah, come away with the pole the first round of the year. Pretty good feeling.
To see a Mustang into the fence to bring out the red flag, it hurts them. There's a connection for you. Just explain that and how sad you must be to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're the Australian New Zealand distributor of these cars. So we sell them and we sell the parts for them. And the Wallace family they're just great blokes, you know, and they've been so excited, such a passionate part of our team. Like, we really integrate them into our operation as well. And yeah, look, we'll do what we can to help them out now, but it looked like a pretty serious crash, and we'll make sure we get them on the track as quickly as possible.
It's been a great week for Ford, lots to celebrate, 100 years as well.
Absolutely, yeah, we're running the number 100 on the car this weekend, which is pretty cool. As you say, the big celebrations in Melbourne, the announcement of the Mustang Cup, you know, here in Australia for next year, and we'll be supporting that too. So all very exciting. You know, we've been a Ford dealer for well over 40 years, and you know, cut me, I bleed blue. So it's been a great week.
And that's a great performance today too. We'll catch you for the race this afternoon.
Absolutely, thanks, Stubbsy.
Stubbsy with George Miedeke, who can finally stretch and stand up to his proper 15 feet height as the GT3 cars roll out for their first qualifying session of the year. Well, these are the big dogs of GT racing, Tom. Can't wait to see this. You've got experience in these cars. You've driven them recently at the Maguire's Bathurst 12 Hour at the start of the season. The GT3 car at full flight, there's few things better, are they? They are spectacular cars.
Yeah, they are. When you're on a low fuel run with green tyres, which it's hard to describe, Crailsy, the amount of grip that these cars actually produce, and they're a proper bit of kit, you know, and to think how good they are at Bathurst, but here as well, I can't wait for this session.
So, Fanatec, GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, coming your way next. Last year was a pitched battle between Ferrari, Audi and Mercedes-AMG, and this year even more brands are in the mix as GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, launches into a brand new season here at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, and what a place to do it. the fastest racetrack in Australia, one of the quickest in the Southern Hemisphere. And these cars cranked up to 11 will be the quickest cars you'll see at this venue all year long. Richard Craill and Thomas Randall with you for qualifying for the opening round of a championship that has all the potential to be just as thrilling as last year's title fight that saw Chaz Mostert and Liam Talbot for a Rise Racing GT and Ferrari edge out Will Brown and Brad Schumacher for Team MPC in an all-in title battle that went right down to the final round at Mount Panorama. The sheet is wiped clean, Tom Randall. It's a brand new season, and this is the first little form guide we get to see who's going to get bragging rights in round one.
Yeah, thanks, Crailsy. Last year, like you said, was such an incredibly tight battle between the Ferrari and the Audi, and like you said, we're back to having scores to 0. So just under 8 minutes remaining in this first of 2 qualifying sessions. We have our pro drivers, if you like, in the Pro-Am class, and we have our AMs out there as well. And a bit of a form guide yesterday, Crailsy. The 268 Audi of Peroni and Rosser, they were pretty fast in both sessions. So I think the Audis have been quite strong, as so have the Ferraris, and the Ferraris really took the spoils last year.
We didn't see much from the Mercedes AMG brigade yesterday, but if you dive deep into the timing, there were some very impressive sector times from one Jaden Ojeda. Just never actually went and completed the lap. There will always be a box this lap call at the end of it after a couple of purple sectors. So we think the Realtor Mercedes AMG from Tigani, which has Jaden Ojeda behind the wheel in this session and Paul Lucchini in the second qualifying session, we're pretty confident that car is absolutely going to be a contender, and it was a race winner 12 months ago. So too was this car, a second season for Team BRM and the ACMF Finance entry with Mark Rosser and Alex Peroni, the Tasmanian who applied the open wheel pathway, went to Europe and in Formula 3 racing, has changed tack. He's come back to Australia, and he was electrifying at stages last year. In a second season, Greg Rust, for this combo could be really something to watch.
Stubbsy, you mentioned in the introduction, of course, that Liam Talbot is at the wheel of something a little different, but it's, I guess, a reunited for you back in an Aston Martin. How's things going? And Declan Fraser's out there at the moment.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, all the other teams did at least 2, if not 4 test days here. We haven't tested, so a bit of an uphill battle, but you know what? The harder the fight, the harder we fight back.
What's the feedback on the weekend so far for you, the build-up to the all-important qualifying and racing today? How's it all been going?
Yeah, it's been going good. It's very positive. I think, you know, for us, this is probably going to be the hardest round, adjusting to the car, both Declan and myself, but that's no excuse. We'll try our best, and each round I'm sure we'll get stronger and stronger, but we want to start as strong as possible, and yeah, let's see what we've got.
Well, we'll let you get back to it. Thank you.
Thanks. Hi, Fifi. Hi, Kenzie.
And Charlie watching at home as well. The family cheering on Liam, the reigning champ in this category. A mega year. Chaz Mostert electing to focus on team managerial roles with Method Motorsports. So he stepped out of that Arise Ferrari, sort of left Liam in the air a little bit with what his program would look like this year, but has put together a really strong program with Valente Rosso. And it's cool to see an Aston Martin contending for the outright results. And it could be a challenging start to the season perhaps, but that is a combo that will build as the year goes on. This is Alex Peroni. He has set the quickest sector times in the first and second sector. This will be the first indicative lap time, the first real lap time of qualifying. It's a 26.2. They'll go quicker than that. This Pirelli takes a little bit of time to switch on. It takes 3 or 4 laps to build up. It's a little bit different to the monochrome GT4 Australia session.
It's quite a durable tyre, Crailsy, and I mean, these tyres in race mode, you can pretty much push the whole way, as we see Tim Miles getting ready for his qualifying session, but so much commitment required at this track. I can't stress that enough in these sorts of cars. The last corner is full throttle in a GT3 car. So you need to have some pretty strong neck muscles in these cars to be able to do that. Turn 1, 6th gear on approach. You keep it in 6th gear. And I've been hearing some of the guys aren't even braking. It's just a lift into turn 1. So it's madness in these cars. So much downforce that these GT3 cars produce. And Jaden Ojeda, like you touched on from practice yesterday, he's just gone purple in sector 1, about a 10th up on what was the fastest first sector. So these tyres, these Pirelli tyres are just getting faster and faster. 4 minutes to go, so I think we'll start to see a real indicative lap time.
This could be a real after the checkered flag scenario in this session at the end of 10 minutes. So the pros run now, then the AM drivers will jump in for the second part of qualifying. But it's sort of a reverse of how GT4 works in terms of what driver starts one race. The driver that starts race 1 finishes race 2, which is really cool. I love the way those races play out, and there's a great ebb and flow over the weekend. Ojeda on a spectacular lap. He's in the final sector in the Mercedes AMG. That's a big moment for Ryan Wood, Walkinshaw Andretti United Supercars driver, who's teamed up with Steve Brooks, the Kiwi, in an Audi for Wolfbrook Motorsport, Team MPC. Here's Ojeda. This will be the quickest lap of the session because his final sector has been very strong. It's not, because Peroni went marginally quicker by 2/1000ths of a second. The Audi clings on to the Pirelli pole by a tiny margin.
Just looking at, sorry Krause, just looking how low these cars are to the ground. You could just see the sparks fly off the front left splitter all the way through turn 1, and the car basically porpoising and bouncing. They run these cars so stiff to try and keep that aero platform as stable as possible. But Ojeda pretty much has matched on this lap that we're tracking now, pretty much matched himself in the first sector, as the Ferrari is quite quick in the middle sector with that fastest middle sector. Ojeda using all the road and some on the exit of turn number 4. They did add these extra strips of bitumen on the exit of some of these corners for the MotoGP, as I don't think he could put too much more tyre on the exit curb there, Krause.
No, that's what I was looking at. He was using every little centimetre of road. The juice. He's such a spectacular race car driver. He's backed out of it for this one, so a little bit of traffic. He'll get time to go again if he wants. Peroni, Ojeda. Evans went to third for Arise Racing. Just picked his teammate Jordan Love in the second of the Ferraris. Really good stuff there. Dorian Boccolacci, the Frenchman for Porsche and EMA Motorsport. Great to have them back. And so too this combination. Brendan Leach jumps up to 6th position in the Dale ITM MPC entry. Ojeda still second. Brock Feeney goes to third now in the Brad Schumacher Kelso electrical car. So good lap from Feeney. Top 3 cars covered by 0.15. Nothing in it at the top. Here's B. Feen, who'll team up with the runner-up in last year's championship, Brad Schumacher. Boccolacci goes to third for Porsche. So EMA Motorsport, 54,000ths of a second away from pole, and he's not even on the front row of the grid. That is how close this championship is going to be this season. The Porsche super strong in the final sector. Ojeda now pressing on. He's set the quickest first sector. Evans has got in front of the Porsche. He's gone to third. Top 3 cars, top 4 cars now covered by 0.05.
Yeah, that is super tight around here. Minute 25 lap time. That is seriously impressive. To be sub 1 minute 26 in these cars is super fast. So Ojeda pressing on with this lap as we're tracking him now up into Lukey Heights. A little bit of a moment in the rear there. You've got to be so smooth with your inputs, especially when you've got so much aero load on these cars. Any massive or erratic inputs, whether it be through the steering wheel or the throttle or the brake, can really upset the aero balance. So nice run off of turn number 11. You can see the sparks fly. I don't think you could use any more road than that. Full throttle around the last corner.
He gave away a little bit of time in the middle sector, but the Audi's very, very strong through the middle. The Merc really good in the first and second. Is this improvement? No. 25.9 for Jaden Ojeda that time by. So stays in second. He's got one more opportunity if he wants it. He only needs to find 2/1000ths of a second. Nothing in it at the top of GT World Challenge at the moment. This is Ryan Woods. He is in 9th position at the moment, only 0.8 back. What about the 26 Ferrari? Jackson Evans, checkered flag flies at the end of qualifying 1. So Evans, who almost went personal best on that lap, is nowhere in terms of, he was third outright, but he's 0.031 away from pole. The Porsche's on a very good lap at the moment for EMA Motorsport. He's in the middle sector of the lap. Dorian Boccolacci, where does he end up?
Yeah, he's also got currently the fastest final sector overall for the session. So even if he could just match his middle sector and his final sector, it is going to be super tight, seeing if he can get onto that front row as we follow Brendan Leach round the final corner. Currently in 7th position. He's green personal best accumulative to the middle sector. So let's see what he can do as he crosses the line. This is his last lap, and he stays in 7th. So that will be where the number 7 Audi will start. Number 7 in position number 7. Declan Fraser also finishing his lap, and Ojeda stays 2nd, 25.7. So to be still punching out 25.7.
Oh, Porsche goes to pole right at the very end. On his final lap, EMA Motorsport have stolen a pole position. What a lap from Dorian Boccolacci. 25.53 by 0.04 of a second on his final flyer.
And his 2nd and 3rd sectors, Crailsy, weren't even personal bests. So it was all just about putting the lap together. And those sectors, he was green in the 1st sector, but putting them all together, he's got pole position, 25.538. And it's still less than a 10th separating the top 4 and all 4 different manufacturers as well.
If you were a 10th from pole, you were 5th on the grid. What a session. Qualifying 2 still to come. So let's just reiterate what we've experienced, because that was an outstanding qualifying session. The top 4 positions, Porsche, Audi, Mercedes, AMG and Ferrari. So from a competitive balance point of view, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the lap times tell the story, Tom Randall. So EMA Motorsport, car 911, Porsche 911, 1 minute 25.53. Alex Peroni, Audi R8 LMS Evo, 25.57. Jaden Ojeda, Mercedes AMG GT3 Evo, 25.58. Jackson Evans, Ferrari 296 GT3, 25.61. Outrageously close, 0.07 of a second, covering the top 4 cars in qualifying 1.
That's seriously impressive. I mean, we had a Mercedes, Ojeda, fastest sector 1, Feeney and Audi, fastest in sector 2, Boccolacci in a Porsche, fastest in sector 3.
Yeah.
So 3 different manufacturers covering all 3 sectors of the circuit.
Imagine coming back, your engineer goes, oh, you're a 10th from pole. So let's say you're Brock Feeney and you're on the radio to Brock and goes, oh, mate, you're 0.16 from pole. Oh, okay, that's okay.
Probably front row?
Yeah, you're 5th. You're not even in the first 2 rows of the grid. A Pirelli Pole Award, the first one of the year, goes the way of EMA Motorsport, and isn't it great to have them back in the championship full time? They had a successful campaign 2 years ago. Liam Talbot drove for that team with Yasser Shahin, and they had a championship battle that year. Took a little year out, put together a strong Bathurst 12-hour campaign this year, and they're back full time with Porsche. And Alex Chabot, who's the head of Porsche Motorsport Asia Pacific, and a big team from PMAP are here this weekend watching on. And young Dorian Boccolacci is one of their young junior drivers who's from that, well, you're Frenchman, but he's the Asia Pacific junior driver. So great to have him here as well. And the cool livery, how good's that with the little racetracks outlined that this team will visit this year?
Yeah, plenty of experience from Dorian in open wheel cars and then making his GD3 debut in 2018. So very much accustomed to GD3 machinery. And the engineer on this car is, well, one of the engineers is Sam Potter, who is actually Cam Waters' engineer in the Supercars Championship. So there's Marcus Cole out in front, the team manager of EMA Motorsport. So one ex-Tickford man and a current Tickford engineer playing a role in this car's success. So just a reminder that we're going to have, they won't be starting the race where they've just qualified. So it's going to be an interesting first race.
So Shane Smolin will start the 911 from pole. That's exciting. Yeah. That's the scene at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. We're fired up for part 2 of qualifying. This to set the grid for race 2, which is tomorrow afternoon's GT World Challenge. Powered by AWS Race. What a show we've had so far, Greg Russ. What a session.
Craisley, I'm just down at Audi Sport Customer Racing. I want to pick up on what you were talking about in relation to how close it was with that top 5. Brock Feeney's just chatting with the team here at the moment. We'll see if we can sneak in. Sorry to disturb you. Man, that was tight. That was close. Where could you have found the 10th?
I don't know. I actually haven't even seen the times yet, so I don't really know where we are. But yeah, it's tight out there from what I hear. Yeah, it's just racing cars at Phillip Island. It's pretty scary in these GT cars around here. But yeah, there's obviously minor things that we can make a little bit better. The wind affects it a lot here in these fast cars. So yeah, could have done a little bit better job out there. But we'll see how Brad goes. He's been pretty fast this weekend.
You were really animated with the crew there a minute ago. Was that the impact of the wind that you were talking about and the change in the behaviour?
A little bit. I think it has changed it day on day, but yeah, for me, I'm trying to learn how to make this car a bit faster and how I can drive it better. So we've been chipping away at the car from practice yesterday. The 2 sessions go so quick. I mean, so for me, it's just trying to get on top of it and see what we can make a little bit better. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be fine in the races.
Thanks, Brock.
Thanks, Rusty.
Nice work from Greg Rust, chatting to Brock Feeney, Ryan Wood just in there as well. And a little debrief with all the crew at Team MPC. They've been the customer racing representatives for Audi in this part of the world for a long time. They've forgotten more than most people know about the Audi R8 platform over 2 generations and all the Evo upgrade kits they get. So now we turn our attention to the AM component in the Pro-Am drivers in GT World Challenge. So Mark Rossett, the South Australian, gets a crack in the ACMF entry for Team BRM. He did such a good job, Alex Peroni, early on. But Alex saying yesterday that Mark had stepped up his game big time, and his performance over the weekend and in their pre-season testing has been outstanding. So we touched on again, and this is a theme, getting your 2 drivers as close as they possibly can be is key to winning in this championship. That is what delivered success last year to Liam Talbot and Chaz Mostert. It's what delivered race wins to this combination, the Dale ITM Audi combo with Tim Miles sharing with Brendan Leach. So the pressure is on in some respect to the AM drivers in this category. They've got a job to do.
Absolutely. I mean, Mark Rosser really stepped it up last year, through the course of last year. I know when they got that race win at Queensland Raceway, I think it was almost like a light switch had gone off. And the performance that he actually displayed here last year was very impressive as well. So that car has been super fast so far this weekend. And I'm sure when they did the driver change in the lane, Peroni would have said, hey, mate, just go out, hit your marks. The car's quick. Let's not touch it. And just try and do a clean lap. And that's what it's all about. I mean, we just heard from Brock how crucial the wind direction is playing a part. There's a bit of a crosswind coming from the right-hand side of the track down the main straight to the left. So that really makes it tricky, especially around somewhere like turn 3 and into Miller Corner. But Brock Feeney, he's been a busy man too. He just came back from a little trip to Martinsville, watching Shane race over there in NASCAR. He'll be heading over, obviously, to New Zealand next week for the next round of supercars. So yeah, to get some more miles is always handy, as we're looking at the number 26 Ferrari of Elliott Shute, back for his 2nd season in the Ferrari as well.
Yeah, it was super impressive last year, Elliott, who came through a little driver search program at Arise Racing over there in the West. Was a gamer and a little bit of track day stuff, but pumped into their Radical program. And Radicals have turned out to be a really good development category for GT cars because the characteristics are relatively similar. Quite high downforce, a lot of grip, mid-corner speed braking, so important in those cars. So we look forward to seeing how Elliott goes in one of the 2 Arise Racing Ferraris. Chris Stubbs.
Thank you, Richard Crail, and it's bonjour to Dorian Boccolacci and très bien. That was outstanding. Congratulations on that lap. Talk us through your first experience here at Phillip Island.
Hi, so first time in Australia, first time in a track. I know only the track by iRacing on simulator. So yeah, it's a very nice track, very nice first corner. It's very fast. We arrived there around 240 kph, so it's very fast. You need to take the rhythm, and it was not so easy because we missed FP1 yesterday and half of FP2. So I had only 4 push laps yesterday to just get in a rhythm on track and to prep the car for today. But yeah, I think I deliver everything I can in the car, in the tires, and the last lap. And yeah, we are on pole position for the first time here, so very happy. And now he's my teammate on the car, and we'll see what he's doing. It's also his first time here in the GT3 car because he won last year in GT4. But But yeah, it will be interesting. We are a bit new. We are the only Porsche at the moment, and yeah, I think Porsche are doing a great thing here.
I think I can hear the phone calls to Porsche at the moment, people wanting to get in one and be part of this series. Dorian, great to have you with us, and we'll catch up with you over the weekend. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. See you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Dubsy. I'm surprised you didn't tell Dorian you're going to be over in France later in the year. Maybe you guys can catch up for a coffee or a croissant. But
we'll come back to you.
Yeah, sure it will. That'll get a step count up.
Yeah, merci to Dorian. Very cool to have him as part of the championship. What a great lap. We'll find out where Shane Smollen, his teammate, is a former Carrera Cup Pro-Am champion, so he's good at this stuff. Guy of Valmont Racing, car run by Tagani, Sergio Perez behind the wheel, and he's done a 1 minute 26.8 to go quickest outright at the moment. Really good lap for Sergio. His long-time mate and business partner, Marcel Zalua, just taking a little step back. Might do a few cameos later this year, but Serge has done a really impressive job. Here's Liam Talbot, and you're just pointing madly at the timing screen because his middle sector's been really good in the Valente Rosso Aston Martin Vantage. And it's second, 26.8 for Talbot. And again, the margins are tiny. It's 0.05 of a second to Perez at the top.
And the gap between third and fourth, Crailsey, is 0.000. We actually have to go to the next decimal point. It's that close. I feel like we're just watching the previous session. The top four covered by less than 0.2 of a second. So Talbot on another lap here as we just track him through turn number 3. Great shots from the drone here down into turn 4, Miller corner. And he's gone faster, or he set another personal best in the first sector of 26.1. So Perez has put a really decent performance in, actually. Sector 1, it's similar to the session before, the Mercedes, quickest in that first sector. So first sector here seemed to really suiting the Mercedes.
Sergio's done a mid-4 at Bathurst in a GT3 car, which is a huge, huge lap time in anything at that place. So he can steer. That's a very, very big lap. Elliott Shute is on a very good lap at the moment. Renee Gracie leading the AM class. We just saw the OnlyFans Audi. Shute goes quickest, 26.60, and puts 2/10 on the field for Arise Racing. Great lap. Jackson Evans did a super job in this car in Quali 1. Here's Steve Brooks making his debut at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. New Zealander, very experienced in this car and a Porsche GT3 Cup car in Somerset GT New Zealand. He's 12th at the moment. Great to have the Kiwi representation. And he said slightly cheekily in his announcement at the start of the year, he's like, you know, I'm going to be learning the tracks, but keep in mind the final round this year, it's in my turf. It's at Hampton Downs, and I know that place like the back of my hand. So he's hoping for some hometown knowledge at the end of the season.
So this looks like it could be a good lap for Mark Rosser. Both green first and second sector. Personal best accumulative to the end of the second sector. So like you said before, he's really taken it up a notch, hasn't he? At the end of last year and this year. And Alex Peroni as well, as he just goes to position number 2, 1/10 away from Elliott Shute. So if it stays like this with only 50 seconds remaining on the clock, that's going to put them in a really good position for both races. At the moment, they're going to be on the front row for both. Well, actually, just been dropped now because Brad Schumacher has now gone to second position at 26.69. So this last 30 seconds is going to really come down to the wire, Crailsey.
Perez goes back to second. So if you're Elliott Shute, you're watching a margin gradually get dwindled down. He's not going to improve on this lap. Slow final sector for the Arise Ferrari. He clings on by 0.07. The checkered flag not far away. Liam Talbot, no personal bests on the lap, except overall he is actually up. So there could be improvement for the Aston Martin here.
I mean, if you're in position number 4,
oh, there is
the top 26.5. That last sector, he's just managed to string all the sectors together here.
Checkered flag flies at the end of qualifying. Still drivers on laps. Rosser is on a lap. Rosser on a lap at the moment. Lucidi on a lap as well, and the Realtor car he shares with Jaden Ojeda. Here's Pedersen. Pole it is. He's sharing with Ant. Ends up 13th. And g'day to Mach 1 Engineering, the Kiwi team, running for the first time in GT World Challenge Australia. Shane Smollen across the line, goes to 6 at the end. Good lap, 27.1 for Shane. So the Porsche is in the mix in both races. Here's Tim Miles. Brendan Leach in the top 6 in qualifying 1. Where can Milesy go? This will improve. No, it won't. Gave away some time in the final sector. Schumacher Is there improvement? No, there's not. He stays fourth. So as every car crosses the line, the odds look even better and better for Liam Talbot to lock a Pirelli pole away for Valente Rosso in his first qualifying session in an Aston Martin. Perez, no, stays third. No improvement from Elliott Shute in the Ferrari. I reckon the Aston's got this.
And no actual best sector from the Aston. He just managed to put all three together. And that was exactly what we were saying in the previous qualifying, that if you just manage to put the lap together, then that's kind of what gets the job done. So the fastest first sector again is a Mercedes, then a Ferrari, and then we have an Audi. There's no fastest sectors from an Aston Martin, but yet he's sitting on the pole position.
Outstanding lap, and that is why he's got number one on the door, Tom. He's the champion in GT racing in this part of the world. He's continually proved his class. That is an outstanding performance from Liam Talbot. And well done to Valente Rosso Motorsport. This is a new car to them. It debuted at this racetrack in August last year at the GT Festival round of GT World Challenge Australia. They ran it at the Bathurst 12 Hour very successfully. But this is a huge leap up for them. Well done to VR. That's Josh Hunt, middle of frame. He's one of the directors of this team with Chris Papadopoulos. He's got the beanie on, the pom-pom in the background. Well done. That's a Pirelli pole going the way of Aston Martin.
And that means that Declan Fraser will be starting that race from pole position tomorrow afternoon. So that's going to be an exciting one to watch. And the margins, crazy. I mean, you're talking 800ths the second, then 700ths further back, and then 100th between the next two. So less than 2/10 covering the top five. Just incredible.
Well, and they talk about the delta between the Pro and the AM driver in those cars. And Liam Talbot's 26.5 was only a second slower than Dorian Boccolacci's pole in qualifying one. So that shows you how good these AM drivers are operating. There's your class poles, GT3 AM to Renee Gracie. Outstanding performance from her ninth outright in that, but check the margins, so close. Less than 2/10 covering the top five down to Mark Rosser in 5th position. Paul Lucitti with Jaden Ojeda, they're going to be strong. Then Miles, Gracie and Woodman rounding out the top 10. Steve Brooks out of 13th, the Kiwi. Paul Pedersen, another of Team New Zealand racing this weekend. Adrian Dietz in the Lambo, he's got Tony D'Alberto alongside him. Goes from 15th, and then rounding out the field, 111 Racing Mercedes AMG of Grant Donaldson. And Liam Talbot, you've just pointed out, that gets even closer to his teammate Declan Fraser. So they are super evenly matched between the two of them.
Yeah, they are, and it's going to be an interesting race this afternoon. That car will be starting in position number 8 for today's race, but they will be lining up on pole position for Sunday afternoon's race. So both these races, it's just so close between the top 5, top 6 cars. So I think anyone at the moment could take the win here.
Oh, I agree with you entirely. And while the field will build in terms of overall numbers this year, there is no doubt in my mind the Pro-Am level this year has taken a huge step up. The depth of competition at the pointy end, adding cars like this, adding cars like the Porsche into the mix, just adds so much to this story.
Yeah, look how much it means to Liam making that switch, like we touched on, from Ferrari to the Aston Martin, and just consolidating with Declan Fraser.
We can see him waiting in the wings. He loves a Pirelli pole interview. Let's go to Greg Rust.
Kralsey, thank you. I thought we'd grab Declan Fraser because Liam's gone off to celebrate that. That's got to feel pretty good. Nice one to start this championship. It's going to be close, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a testament to the development we've done with the Aston Martin so far. So to have Liam qualify pole for us in the second race is amazing, and we'll push through in my race. We know our car's a good race car as well and can hold on to tyres. So I'm pretty excited. Massive shout out to the Valente Rosso team. Like, they've worked day and night to get us here, and it's a last minute deal, but it's actually been happening in the background for a long time with Liam. So to be here at the event, super stoked to be here, and just can't wait to get after it in the race.
Congratulations to both of you. Were there little learnings from Declan's session before you jumped in, perhaps, that may have helped?
Yeah, for sure. He gave me a good read on the car, so that obviously gives me a head start. And, you know, we're a team. So united, we get good results like poles, and hopefully we can continue that good luck.
It's got to feel sweet. Congratulations.
Yeah, boy.
Woo! Oh, they're going to be a good combo. Thanks, Rusty. Pirelli pole to Valente Rosso in GT World Challenge Australia. What a session. What a pair of sessions. Great stuff, and we can't wait for their first race later on this afternoon. You're watching the Shannon Speed Series live from the Phillip Island Grand Prix Circuit.